Have you ever seen a roo kick? Have you ever seen an emu run under the bright Aussie skies and said this year we'll be the one? Oi, oi, oi! What does it mean to be a part of a footy team? It's more than a game. The footy's in our veins. It's time to go. It's the Northern Footy Show. Get out of our way. We wanna see them play.
G'day guys, welcome to the Northern Footy Show, Bonners. We're a bit crammed in here tonight, we're at Bundoora Footy Club, and thank you to Kingy for putting on the rooms for us.
Yep.
But big night tonight, as we've spoken about. We have the five experts and Bolzo in the background.
Got the four. There is an apology.
Yes.
Jason Heatley.
Yes, that's true.
Got caught up, but he's part of the team.
At work, very much part of this selection panel, and the boys will do the hard digging. So what they're doing in the background right now is we've given them over, I think there's over 150 names that have been put forward for the side of yesteryear, which is 1974 to 2000.
And then 2001.
And then 2001 through to today. So the boys are the amount of talent, in all seriousness. I was just listening to the conversation in the background, Matty, and I was a little bit, I think I just said, I'm in a bit of awe here. It's listening to the guys and the names they're talking about. How do you leave anyone out? It's amazing, you know.
Which you look at it too, they're still adding names now. So, you know, with thanks to all the clubs who sent through all their lists, we are working through. It's going to be as best stat based as we can, but the boys at the back have got a great understanding of it. You've got, you know, Shorey and Gary Massey have been around for years. Vinny's been part of it. Robbie Majorana. Robbie Bolson's been a part of football for that many years. Heaters as well. So you're pretty much well covered with the crew that are out there. You can hear it's pretty robust at the back. There's a few disagreements already. It's a bit of argy and a couple of blokes who are disagreements, but I think it's fantastic. And, you know, it's great to be here and to get them all doing that as we continue the show.
So grateful what they're putting together, because
Absolutely.
We're really embracing the yesteryear side and the today side.
Absolutely.
Then there's going to be the mystery call, Bonners, which I'm going to drag you into.
I'll be in.
We'll release on the night. At our grand final night, this will be released, which is sold out.
We've
got 13 tables. We plan for 10. We'll squeeze 13 in.
We might have to chuck another one in. I
was just saying,
haven't
Robbie,
spoken to
can we
King
fit
yet?
another one in? But we'll certainly fit everyone in, which will be great. Now, let's get into our normal show for a second. We're going to bring these guys in and out during the show, and you're going to have a word with them. What a huge weekend ahead we have, and it all starts with Division 3 finals this week. So I don't have my glasses again tonight.
Would you like to read it? Or?
I reckon I can get this one off. This was the only one I blew up. But Heidelberg Golf Club Division 3, the qualifying final of Old Pradians and Mernda will be at 2:10 at Laylaw Reserve. And the elimination final of Old Eltham Collegians and Epping will be at 2:10 on the Sunday.
How mouthwatering is that? Like, we've said it all year, the top 5 teams are against each other. And, you know, Fitzroy Stars get the week off, but I don't know, when you got momentum, is it sometimes a good thing or is it sometimes a bad thing?
So, I reckon Fitzroy will love the week off. Just
for sure, to refresh. And they'll still work hard, but look at those mouthwatering games. I mean,
it's going to be huge.
It's just fantastic. I mean, this is. You look at, we've got Division 2 and Division 1 to come, but to be honest, the whole year I've been looking forward to Divi 3 just to see how it all goes. Well, see who actually gets into the granny first. I mean, there's 5 teams there. You sit there and go, you could see all of them playing Divi 3.
Who's your expectations? Let's talk about this one. This round. Old Pradians and Mernda.
Fletch going to jump through the camera.
Will be here. Fletch can't you roll the nose?
No, actually, as I said, I've had my 2 teams for the year. I think Old Pradians are amazing. I think Mernda getting people back, but has the balance been there long enough to kind of generate that team? So they have hit their straps really well. there'd be no more than 2 goals between it, but I'm still jumping on Benny Turner, and they've come across pretty well. So, like three of the top 5 or so have just come from the VAFA, so it's amazing.
I think Moon to get it done pretty easy, to be honest. I just think they're best. I think Rob's got them right at exactly the right time.
It's just the balance, I think, how long people have played together. They've got the talent by far. Like, they're probably, as I said, on paper, the most talented team when everyone's on the park. But is there enough in enough of these players to get them through? If anyone's going to get it out of them, it's Robbie Fletcher. But I'm still sticking by what I said at the start.
I think Moon to probably get this done. I'm going to say 34 points.
Yeah, I reckon Old Prairie's got about 9 points.
All right, well, perfect. Then, obviously, we have the elimination final. So both of those sides will have the double chance. So, if they lose, they get another crack, and then Old Eltham Collegians take on Epping. Layla obviously as well. This is a tougher one for me.
I think Epping get it done. I honestly think that they're such a quick side. They're such a young, quick side, and Brady Hollow's got them at the right time. They've smacked a team at the end to get in. So, and a team that we kind of had a very high priority in Ivanhoe. So I think that I actually think Epping get the job done.
This makes good TV because we're not agreeing on nothing. I think Old Eltham get it done.
But that's how close to the competition.
I actually think they get it done well. I'm going to say like 27, 28 points. I just think they've turned their season around like that at the right time.
Didn't Fletch tell you not to pick them? So
I'm not to get a Fletch, mate. If you want to go, me homie, bring it.
He kicks a football without.
At least I've stayed loyal all year.
I've not changed my ways the whole year.
But, I mean, in all seriousness, and spend another minute on this division, it could go either way. There's no guarantee on this game at all, is there?
But I wouldn't be surprised if it did go the other way, both of the games. You know, like one of us could be right for both, one could be right for each. There's such a closeness between. I mean, when you looked at the ladder at the end of the year, what was the difference between 2 and 5?
Oh, yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely ludicrous. So for them to actually to be that close for the whole year, it just makes a cracking final series. Whoever wins it's going to definitely deserve it. But it's who hits their straps at the right time.
As it says down the bottom, the selection team are working behind us. We're going to try and get all the guys involved here if we can. I'm not sure how keen Gary Massey is on camera. Ray Shaw doesn't mind a bit of camera time, and Vin's probably going to come in and tell us all his secrets and how he's managed to get these guys here. So we'll get these guys involved shortly.
Let's move on to Divi 2.
Let's go to Divi 2.
Let's get the games done. We've got so much to go with the guys out the back.
Absolutely. Let's go.
So Divi 2's.
And thank you to Under for the line.
Look, let's start at the most important game the most important game of the weekend, and that's Lorimer Watsy. For me, it's a final in its final. I mean, these guys aren't going to be playing finals, but they are going to be playing finals, if that makes sense. So this is just as much important as winning a premiership, I think, sometimes. If you're down the bottom of the ladder, you've got an opportunity to stay up. Especially Lorimer, they'll be foaming at the mouth. Watsy won't want to go down either. They've made the change of the coach a couple of weeks ago. So
percentages were 70-30 on the poll. Had Lorimer staying up. I'm not tipping.
At home, I have to say, at home, I actually, I think Lorimer wins at home. Just only because it's at home.
I have no comment on demands of Jim. But, I think it'll be a great game.
You've got draw here. What's going on?
I don't reckon. Well, a draw, Lorimer goes through. Maybe I'll select the draw. There you go.
I just think that
important game.
It's a massive game. But look at momentum coming in. You've got one team that's probably tapered off a little bit of stuff that they're trying to work out for next year. And you've got a team that they've learnt so much in the first half of the year that now they come into the second half of the year. Had some cracking football. As you said, your stats have showed, third best percentage in the second half of the year. For a team sitting second last, and they leapfrogged them last week. For me, I think Lorimer gets it done. So let's move on. This is just as important. This is Thomastown St Mary's.
Oh, yes.
This is a final. This is an elimination final in itself.
Well, I think, who did I tip there? I think I said I'd go with
St Mary's.
I just think St Mary's on overall form have probably done enough. They've both been up and down these sides, so I don't think much separates them, maybe a goal or two. But at the end of the day, I really think that St Mary's should get this done, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tomo did it. I think I'd put 2 points down there.
I think St Mary's get it done. I think you've got some great blokes at the head. I just think they've been consistent. They haven't had the greatest thing. They've got shocking injuries all the way through. But
Guarantee your finals campaign win.
well, that's pretty much what you have to do. You know, this is the first elimination final before it starts. So, you know, amazing. So next one, you'd be confident but not confident in the next game. That's Northcote Park at Whittlesea. Why? Because you're at Bill Laurie Oval. And Northcote Park at Bill Laurie Oval. I mean, I'm back in the day, I was
What's Gary Ramsay thinking going into the last game? He's surely thinking, I don't want any injuries. I want to get these
but
guys
you can't
through,
do that,
get
though.
them
I reckon
ready.
what happens when that happens is that's when you either get injuries or you stop, blokes don't get that hard-hitting start to the end. I mean, they're going to have the week off next week. So really, do you need to drop it off, or because they're going to get their double? They're going to
play for their spot.
Well, people are playing for their spot, but I think that if you're going to have the week, if they had not had the week off next week, you're like, well, probably park the brakes. But if you win, you know, there's still that closeness between 1 and 2. So I thought there was 4 points between 1 and 2 now with Diamond Creek. So, you know, like if you want to play, you've got to play for the week off.
Big game coming up further down there as well with Diamond Creek.
So I reckon, I reckon that Whittlesea get it done, but that nothing would, you know, this year says that Northcote Park are every chance to win.
Yep, agree. Let's go with that.
What a cracker. And this to me is just this
match of the round.
It's not even match of the round. This is what you want coming into a finals campaign. You know you're going to be in the top 3 or 4. So the top 3's done. So the reality is this is a precursor for next week.
Yep, absolutely.
So you got South Marine, Diamond Creek, which is basically going to be 2 weeks in a row.
Who'd you tip? I went Diamond Creek and I've said Ripper. It'll be a Ripper.
Well, I actually, do the boys come back this week though?
No, I think it's our last week of VFL this week, is it?
Yeah, well, that's the difference between the games.
Special mention to Mitch Kalpakis, 219 ranking points last week. Has his 40 possessions, 20 intercept marks.
So he's just eased his way in.
I reckon he's shit.
Yeah.
I reckon he's a faker. No, not at all.
Look,
Well done, Mitch.
if they're in that sides, for me, if they're in South Marine, win. But if they're not in Diamond Creek, so if they're not playing, then to me,
Pretty
Diamond
sure
Creek.
they're not playing this week. They have another week of VFL.
And this is another good one as well. Like Lower Plenty, Patton Hill. Patton Hill would really want to finish off. Lower Plenty is still in the mix.
Yeah, they are.
To play finals. I mean, you've got Lower Plenty, Thomastown, St Mary's all sitting there going, I want to play finals.
I said Lower get this done in a close way.
No, I think they get it done easy, to be honest. I think Patton Hill have had a crack at the second half of the year. I reckon they've tapered off in little bits.
Yep.
And I reckon their coaching staff will be the first to say it. But to me, I think Lower gets it done.
Well, that's going to be an interesting, and it's a last home and away round for Division 2.
Yep.
So it all
Jostling
comes down
for
to
positions,
this.
yeah. So you've got
every game says equally important opposition.
When you look in South Marine, Diamond Creek, people say, well, you're going to play each other next week, but you're getting the one-uppers coming into a final series. No, you've beaten them the week before.
Yep.
But the other part too is you're keeping your tactics back a little bit. So, but when you're South Marine, you know you're getting 2 of the best footballers in the league coming back next week. So, you know, for me, it's probably more important, I think, for Diamond Creek this week to set themselves up, knowing what's going to come back.
Definitely agree. All right, let's hit Divvy 1 before we get who are we bringing in first?
We'll get Vinny in first. I mean, we're going to have
get your
first
questions ready for Vin.
We're going to have him in.
Ask him about his game plan on these.
No, I know his game plan. It's a simple game plan. Kick more goals for the opposition.
All right, Divvy 1, let's fly through this one.
Well, you've got, you know, this second last round of the year.
Under is safe.
They're safe, but you want safe. Do you know what I mean? Like anything happens, you lose this game and then suddenly it still opens the door. You want to slam the shut.
McLeod have to realistically win by 100 points in both games, and Bundoora has to drop both for them to survive.
But the reality is you don't want any possibilities coming through.
No.
Does that make sense? So for me, Bundy are safe, but like speaking to the boys, they just want to finish off well. Listening to, I came down and heard Heath Scotland, he's just like, the year's not over. Just because you're out of finals, you've got to get something out of the year. You've got to work. And as I think the common saying is, you've got to work into pre-season. You've got to have something to build on pre-season. They've been a lot better second half of the year. We were really critical first half, and I think justifiably so.
But they beat Mon. Bundy beat Mon.
But then who they lose to? They lose to Eltham and McLeod. So they're the things that are just
season change.
So Bundy win it. I reckon they win by about 8 goals. I think that.
I definitely think Bundy.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Something that must have happened there. So I think Bundy get the job done.
Yeah.
Can you get me ice cream on your way home? It comes through on my phone during the show.
Mine's going off too. I'm just sitting there going, let's make sure no one's falling apart.
I think Bundy gets done by about 35 points.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with Bundy as close to the season.
Taking last few weeks of the weather too, like it's going to come into a fantastic weekend of footy. So.
Can I ask you a question without notice? So McLeod's got a new coach coming in next year, which is fantastic.
Yep.
If you're him, do you want to come in as a top competitor in Division 2, or do you want to have to rebuild from the bottom of Division?
I think you come in what you get. Like the
You have
reality.
a choice. Give me a choice.
Well, you'd want to stay up.
Yeah,
To be honest, like and no team wants to drop down because, as we've seen in every division, like Mernda just fell by a goal last year. They're coming up against Fitzroy Stars, Old Paradians, Old Collegian. So there's no guarantee people go up.
Yeah, 100%.
So you want to be in the best possible position to be able to go forward. And let's be honest. I'm trying to speak louder just so I can be heard. But you're also better at attracting players. Like you got Div 2 players who want to say, I don't know, I can make it in Div 2. I want to see if I can push myself in Div 1.
Happy to see McLeod re-signing players. I've seen most clubs start their re-signing process.
Which I think is what is the main thing. The two things that the best part is, it felt like after we said it's time to restart to re-sign coaches, I reckon 8 got re-signed. For me, it's the most important part of a football club going to the following year. Know who you're coaching. Know what's going forward. Know what's coming into the system. Well, then you go, this is our coach. Coach goes, okay, this is what I need. Keith sits there from like this year. So you've got, Kilmore's coach. You've got, Reservoir coach sitting there going, I know what we need now.
I'm
now
so
we have
happy to
go
say they've re-signed.
Yeah, look,
too.
I think all the local clubs who they've actually re-signed, I think it's been fantastic.
Good job.
So, all right, let's move on. We've got West Preston, Banyule.
Banyule bounced back here, 14, 15 points they win by. They were very disappointing last week. And, I really enjoy those two coaches in Rick and Harrow, and I reckon they would have been shattered with the performance. To be honest, the only thing they did wrong was not kick goals. They were 1-11 at one stage. I'm sure they'll talk about this week. Banyule's a better side than that, far better side than that. Their only chance back is a win this week.
Well, they got to win the last two. I mean, the reality is you're fighting with Hurstbridge and Greensboro to get in. So one of those three is going to miss out, which in any other year, you sit there and go, how's that possible?
Yeah, 100%. I think
I think
Banyule win for me.
Yeah, me too.
And a good season by West Preston too, because I had them for bottom of the ladder at the start of the season. So Eltham, Heidelberg.
Yeah, this could be a massive.
I
reckon Bongo's done an amazing job.
Not a massacre, but it's 50, 60 points.
It's triple.
50, 60 points would be a good result.
You've got a team coming in now, red hot, ready to go to finals. They had 9 players out a couple of weeks ago. They put 9 back in this week.
You can ask him in a minute. He's coming up
he's not going to tell me anything. For me, this is a statement game for Heidelberg. They come out and just go bang.
They are supreme.
Greensboro and Mont.
I've tipped Mont, and I'll tell you why. I still think Mont and North Heidelberg are the only sides that can beat Heidelberg. And I think Mont's got all their really good players back at the moment. Might only be missing 1 or 2. I think Greens here are a good side. They've knocked off Heidelberg, but I just think Mont's momentum will be enough. Again, I think it's a must-win game really for either. But I think only a goal or 2 separates it though. I've been impressed with both. They're about even.
Yeah, nothing excites me more than disagree with you. So I reckon Greens will get it done. Similar points. I think Matty Hyde's got them all ready to go. I mean, there's
viewers will love this.
Yeah, I know. Is that Robbie standing up? I can't tell if he's standing or sitting.
Oh, that's the first track. All right, what do we got next, big fellow?
Last game of the round, you got Hurstbridge, Meyer, North Heidelberg. So I think North are pairing. I just think they're just, they've got for me, probably one of the best forward lines in the comp.
Hursty's had a great year. They'll be happy so far.
Mate, they're not going
to
smack them. Heidelberg's not going to win by 10 goals. They're going to win by 2 goals.
Yeah, I reckon they'll win by 5 or 6.
I reckon North Heidelberg's going to win because Hurstbridge doesn't kick straight.
You might be right, but it's at Hurstbridge, and Hursty is a 2-goal better side there. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. All right, now we're going to go to a commercial break. I'm going to go and grab Vin. Yeah, we're going to do some online training here. I'm going to press this ad because it's our longest one, and hopefully I can get him over in this time if it starts. Just ad-lib your way through. Yeah. Okay, right. We'll be back with Vinny Natoli in just 1 second.
G'day, my name's Chris Newton. I'm one of the proud owners of the EA Group. I'm rapt to be on this show and supporting sports, supporting local sport. We're very proud sponsors of a range of footy teams, soccer teams, AFL teams around the country, particularly regionally where they need most of our help. Give our team at EA Group a call. We've got all your TSAP, crushers, screeners, trommels, and as you can see, everything else that you need to be able to load these wonderful machines. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be on the show and to support your success.
Welcome back, guys. We've kicked the best part of the show. Compty's not on the show. We brought Vinny in, coach of Heidelberg Football Club, back on the winners list this week. My understanding is you had a few out the week before. Is that correct? And you're slowly working yourself through to finals. How are we shaping up?
We're shaping up good, honest. We had a good win over the weekend against West Preston.
Yep.
We had some significant changes to the mix.
Yep.
But we were very happy the week before the game against Greensborough, which was a ripping game.
Yep.
Obviously, we fell short, but we got some really good game time into some guys that needed that level of footy. So that was a good experience for them.
So exposed more coming in the finals. So
So we've been pretty pleased. We've rotated 46 guys through our list.
Yeah.
So we're pretty pleased where we're sitting, obviously, and we're wrapped at how many guys have come through and played senior footy this year. So it's been good.
So you're big on bringing the young blokes as well. Have you brought some of the 19s through as well, giving them game time, giving them experience, which will be fantastic for the future as well?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, every club gets the opportunity to play a 23rd man once every 4 weeks. So we've ticked that box.
Yep.
And through the year, there's been a couple others that have picked up another 1 or 2 games. So we've got some good 19 kids coming through. It's going to create some interesting opportunities next year for them coming through, for sure.
Before we move on to the boys at the back, the club itself seems to be going well. I've seen the girls have gone into a prelim.
Yeah.
You've got such great depth, your 19s and your reserves. The club itself must be at one of the best places it's been for a while.
Yeah, we're in a similar position as last year. All 3 sides made finals, and the women made finals as well. The women last year lost in the prelim from memory.
Yep. So big chance for them.
Sorry, they lost in the grand final last year. So they've obviously been promoted to Division 1 and now playing in the Division 1 prelim come this Sunday. So the women are doing exceptionally well.
Yep.
And we're wrapped with the 19s, the seconds and the seniors all tracking in the right direction.
Yeah, and how's it like being back home for the second half of the year? Been travelling for the first half of the year. Is the ground in good nick? Has it come up the way you'd hoped it would?
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed it. The novelty of training in Bundoora for pre-season through February and a little bit of March. And then we changed into still doing that and a little bit at Ford Park. So it's almost we've had 3 different environments within one season. It's actually just spiced it up a little bit. So it's actually hasn't been challenging at all. It's actually been, I think the boys have embraced it. It's been quite enjoyable.
And moving on to the night at hand, there's been very robust discussions out the back. There's a lot of great names. It is the most difficult task you guys have to do to try and pick a team. I think it's around 24 players. Is there players that people have put up that you may not have thought in the past, or is there some that you've added that you think might have been missed?
It's hard enough picking your side weekly at Heidelberg. And then this is it's fun to be involved in this. But the post-2000 side's always a little bit tricky for me personally, and I'm sure for Robbie as well. But luckily we got Ray and Gary Massey here that can help out with the guys that played in the 70s, because I'm going to have no idea in that space. And I'm sure there's a lot of good players that will get missed, but it's a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And the guys that you've heard the things I've seen, Robbie's lovely little, highlighted.
Robbie loves his spreadsheets.
If there's a, I think Compty asked you this before. Is there a lock in both teams that you sit there and go, there's one person in this team that cannot possibly miss?
Yeah, I would say, as you could probably vouch for, Bonner, the post-2000 side, Heath Ayres is a lock.
Yeah.
Without question. And I've said it publicly before, pound for pound.
Yeah, I think I've said the same. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lock over there. The pre-2000s, just I'm not sure what that lock looks like at the moment, and we'll work through that.
Yeah, I had the opportunity of playing with Ayresy for years. It was just, you got to see this young guy get to work. He was like, I'm pretty sure he was like 19.
18 when he first started with us.
First started with us, and playing with him, and and seeing him develop, and he was just the best. Like even when he went to Lowell Plen, he was still just the same type of player and the most consistent. You know, if his body could hold up a little better, he probably could have gone a bit further. So,
for sure.
And there's plenty of big boys too. I reckon the hardest job in the whole second half. I mean, we're talking about names like Daniel King, you've got Matty Dennis, you've got Brett Jeffrey. These blokes through, you know, put Cam Eaton there because he'd be a bit disappointed if his name doesn't mention. But a lot of these tall blokes, it's hard to pick just one ruckman, isn't it?
Well, you know, 100%. That is a challenge in itself. But someone like Matty Dennis could have comfortably played footy at centre half back.
Yeah.
As agile and as mobile as he was, he ended up being a phenomenal ruckman in the competition.
Yep.
But he could have comfortably been a really good centre half back as well.
Yeah.
That won't come into conversation because he played majority of his footy as a ruckman.
Yeah.
And even I think Daniel King was quite mobile.
Yeah, he was a centre half forward. I think when we played a lot, he switched between centre half forward and the ruck. So.
Yeah, and everything's determined on what environment they're in.
Yep.
If you had to put those two guys in a VFL environment, that would have been sort of key position players, not ruckman.
Exactly. So, and it kind of got like, there's also names that we look at that include like longevity in a football club. Like a name that I always came up with, Daniel Keenan at Montmorency. I mean, he was part of Monty for 10, 15 years.
Still is.
Yeah. So you got Paul King running around from Bundoora. You know, you had Manny Armat, Joey Armat running through the system. So it's kind of funny that we have all these best and fairest, but I'm pretty sure I heard Robbie say before that you kind of value your club best and fairest more because they actually get to see what they see week in, week out. So, and a lot of these guys would have won probably 2 or 3 club best and fairest.
Yeah, that's right. And Robbie's got a lot of merit in saying that. And I think when you look at your B&Fs of past players at their clubs, it's going to go a long way for them to be selected in this team.
So you were playing probably more through the 90s and early 2000s, and your team, like Layla, was probably one of the top teams, the best team. Frogger and all the boys through there. So is there players that you played against that you sit there and go, that they kind of spark up a memory? Doing this type of thing would no doubt you'd sit back and go, I remember playing on him, or, you know, he was a gun footballer. Is there a name that probably people wouldn't know pre-2000? You can sit there and go, this is a guy that was just a household name that I guess the new generation wouldn't know.
I've always said that John Burke was always the hardest guy I've ever played on. For a guy that was so big, he was so fit. Brett Hancock at North Heidelberg
he's another one,
was a phenomenal player, and I think back end of his career ended up, you know, playing the premiership side at North Heidelberg in 2005 at centre half back as a captain coach. Was phenomenal. I mean, obviously, it's common knowledge that Jamie Shaw was an absolute weapon at full forward. But I forget his first name, Lang. Do you remember his first name?
Was it Chris? No.
Chris Lang.
I thought, I know who you're talking about.
Played at Bundoora, Montmorency, and I think at Mernda as well. Was a very, very good player. Hard to match up on. Heath Shepherd, the ones that I played on him at West Preston, was super, super quick. There's a lot of good players.
And I think, like Lee Gray's another one. I think
Lee Gray was a little weapon.
I remember playing on him a few times at North Heidelberg. You know, I had Pierre Dad, I reckon, every time we played Northcote Park. So a lot of these household names. So we'll let you get back to it. But keep up the good work. I think we're going to get Ray up here now and see if we can get pre-2000.
No worries.
And I'll leave you to get back into it.
Thanks for having us.
G'day, my name's Chris Newton. I'm one of the proud owners of the EA Group. I'm rapt to be on this show and supporting sports, supporting local sport. We're very proud sponsors of a range of footy teams, soccer teams, AFL teams around the country, particularly regionally where they need most of our help. Give our team at EA Group a call. We've got all your T-SAB, crushers, screeners, trommels, and as you can see, everything else that you need to be able to load these wonderful machines. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be on the show and to support your success.
Just want to work with everybody. Can't even pronounce names. We're with the great man, Ray Shaw. Ray, you've been working away with it at the moment. It's been very loud. We're trying to talk over the top of you boys. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. As we knew, there's always going to be a lot of good players, mate.
Yeah,
a lot of good players. And you're trying to put them in their selected position. We don't want to do, play a star ruck Australian. Well, we don't want to put him at centre half back or something like that. So, look, it's great memories, I can tell you now. I was involved with the Diamond Valley going back right there, when I was at Lakey's and things like that. So seen some great players, mate.
Yeah.
Some really good players. Really.
Name a couple of names. As I said, we'll chuck out a few positions. Like you got Ruckman, who's some of the top Ruckman.
Well, Stephen Willox is the best ruckman.
Yep.
I reckon we've seen.
Triple premiership.
That's right. Yeah, we had Jeffries from Norfolk Park.
Yeah,
And-
he's a name that could fit in both. I think.
Yeah,
so he
he
went
could.
his way
He
through.
could.
Yeah.
So really, when it comes down to ruckman, there's probably only 2 or 3 that really stood out. So
Yep.
yeah. So
And Jamie Shaw just.
James should just picked himself.
Yeah, exactly. If
Yeah.
you don't know, I don't want to be the one to tell him if you don't pick him. To be honest,
We've got that square made up already, mate.
Yeah.
But
do we have to pay his food bill during the game or something?
141 year or something like that.
And look, and to me, they're the ones that you look back in football. I reckon the full forward is lost in all football days now. That you got the flooding techniques and stuff. So he was a chameleon. That bloke. He could just jump all the way through.
Well, funny, when he come to Preston, when I was there in 82, 83, 84, he couldn't get a game.
Yeah.
He's playing the seconds in 84 or something like that. Then the next year, he just went berserk,
Yeah.
Because we had Burke and Ellis and all these blokes, and we just couldn't fit him in, but he was a sensation.
And just came back and become, and as I said, you look at some of these players and VFL players they've gone through the system, come back to local footy, and they've just become household names. So
Very much so. Very much so.
we've done the extended bench, and the reality is that you are going to have those extras that you're kind of trying to fit in. I reckon if you got 5 different people, you would have those 2 or 3 that you miss. But it must be good just to look back and to actually give credence to a lot of these footballers that may have been forgotten in the
Very much so,
years. And you would have seen them come through. You still see them at catch-ups all the way through.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
what's it like to do something like this?
I think it's fantastic. It's not traditional, but the past is always there.
Yeah.
And you can always build on it, and you can always I like talking future. But when I go to the reunions at Preston and Queensborough and all these places, and even the reunion, we have days at Hurstbridge when I coach there. But some of those blokes are really good players.
Yeah.
So it's the Diamond Valley's always been a very strong competition.
Yeah.
And they've produced so many very good players. That's the thing about it. And over the 50 years, God, you could have 200 blokes in the side, mate. That's quite easy. And the good thing about it's going to be a real good talking point.
Yeah, and look, it's always going to be a discussion. I mean, it doesn't matter when you put a team together.
Yeah.
There'll be someone say, "Oh, you forgot this bloke," but then you compare them. So, say you played football with someone, you're always going to put them at a higher prestige than someone that you didn't get to see every week. So now, a lot of these boys, when you have catch-ups, they're like myself, they got a bit better the longer they're out of the game. So I remember I've got better every year I've been out of football. So
I've got a policy about that, mate. You just tell them how good they were
exactly.
straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they
Say,
come
"Oh,
in.
mate, you're a sensation. You're probably the best footballer I've ever played with." So now going through these lists, I mean, you and Gary Massey probably have the greater understanding of the pre-2000s, and I've heard you have a few discussions. There's a few names come up, and they do really twig memories. So, is there a player that stands out that you sit there? Like, we're looking at captains and that as well. Is there, like the hardest part would almost be picking a captain. So, are there names out there that kind of you sit there and go, was a leader of men, not just a good footballer?
I think Brett Hancock from North Island. Yep, he was a very good player, but also a really good leader. And that, even Petricelli from Layla, like Petra's a great player. He probably didn't get the accolades as what Sinclair and Watson and all that, but you knew Petch was there every week having a go. And there's just so many blokes. Neil Brindley was probably the best.
Yeah,
I've
Neil
seen.
Brindley is a name that comes up a lot. So
He's
I hear
probably
it a
the
lot.
best. Yeah, he's probably the best I've seen.
Yep.
And coached. From 1 to 100, mate, if we can keep them going.
Do you look at football now and like? I think I personally appreciate football of the past because I feel like it was very much a one-on-one game back in pre-2000s and stuff like that. So I tended to find that football now is more a collective group. So it's a lot harder, I reckon, to pick a team for the second half because there's such great team defence. There'll be a loose defender, but it was all one-on-one pre-2000. Do you agree with that?
Without a doubt, I'm not a big AFL watcher.
Yeah, I watch Brisbane every. That's it.
When when Heath retired 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It took a little bit of interest out of it because you're watching your son play, and it's a completely different game from what the 70s, 80s was. Because, man, in my day, you never come off the ground. You went from the on ball to the forward pocket.
So he dragged me quite a few times, to be honest. I spent a bit of time on the bench.
So, and today they come off after 5 minutes, have 3 or 4 minutes.
I don't like that part either. I like the contest. It's almost like a gladiator contest. You could take to the last quarter to knock out your, to take your opponent out. Someone kicked 3 goals in the last quarter, where I kind of feel like as soon as someone gets a goal kicked on them, there's that rotation that goes away.
And the thing that really I don't like with a passion.
Yeah.
And I watched at Christmas time. I watched the '85 Essendon Geelong game. I can't remember what was the final. And I deliberately counted how many uncontested balls in the first half. There was 23.
Yeah.
You know how many? Every game is 400 now.
Yeah, I know.
Now that's not. And I reckon the AFL have got a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
Because they change the bloody rules.
It is
every
hard.
bloody year.
It's almost like reactional sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
Why try? Look, footballers are gladiators. They're out there. They play hard. And things like that. Let them stay on the ground to start with, because it's at the end it's the fittest side.
And
will
that's
win
what
the
I
game.
used to love.
That's right. They win the game. Doesn't matter.
No cramps anymore, mate. No one's on there long enough.
That's right. Exactly right. So it's a different game, but I old fashioned. I like the old.
I'm the same as you. So give me a backman and a forward you think has to be a lock for your side.
Fullback would be Daryl Sinclair. Daryl, terrific player. He could play centre halfback. He could even play on the wing. He was 6'3". So, and what was the other one?
Forward. Give me a forward.
Besides Jamie Shaw, I reckon Adrian Cameron. Adrian Cameron. I reckon he is. But you got
so many
Martello and like that. A lot of people probably didn't see these blokes play, but they were tough and they were quick. And they were really good players. But the on ballers, I just said to Gary Massey, who one of the most knowledgeable people that I've ever known. We could have a side of 18 on ballers. And they're all good players, mate.
Yeah. Put 6 on the bench, mate. You'll be fine.
That's right.
So, well, I'll let you get back into it.
Thanks, buddy.
It was fantastic having you part of it.
All good, mate.
And we will continue on with, I think. Okay, we'll get. This is my time doing here, so yeah.
At the Northern Footy Show, we are proud to announce LJL Custom Cabinets as our partner in sponsoring the Top Gun Goal Kicking Challenge. Rick and his team at LJL Custom Cabinets are the #1 choice for kitchens, cabinets and all custom work. Support the local businesses that are supporting grassroots footy. Contact Rick today.
For all those at sea, I am a bit of a computer invalid, so it took 2 goes to put in a thing, and when you got Compty blowing in your ear all the time, and trying to tell you what to do, it's always a pain in the bum. I have to do it every week, Robbie. So
you're the man.
So now you've probably become the most prepared. You've done a fantastic list. Did you sit down while doing this? Was it such a difficult task to actually just even drop it down or say 100 names?
Yeah, 100%, and particularly because they cross eras, it's hard to sometimes compare those names, but that was good exercise going through it, and from my own experience playing on some of these guys, direct experience, and others watching them, and then others just hearing about them. So I thought, get names down on the list, and then we can work through with the rest of the group and start prioritising and knocking out blokes from there. But yeah, it's a difficult task, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is there names you sit there and they've been added? I've seen there's been a few added to your list. When you get all these 5 guys together, everyone has such a different. I was just saying to Ray before that you kind of value players you played with a little bit more than played against, simply because you see these guys week in, week out. So having that varying support must be great, just to get those extra names you may have missed, and then makes it a little bit tougher because the names go from this to this. Is there names that you put on that you heard that you sit there and go, oh, I really should have thought about him?
Yeah, it was interesting talking to other guys. It's guys that overlooked, but we've added quite a few in. Some of them probably from before my era. So the older guys, Shorey and Gary, have probably got more experience with some of those. But Chrissy Keating was one that I probably overlooked. Jamie Solium up forward. Russell Dixon, very, very good player. Mark Perkins. So you can go on for a very long time just adding to this list, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to make some hard
Some big
decisions.
Yeah, look, I don't think Keats is one of those blokes. I played footy with for my last year or two, and such a passionate football man. You look at him and, you know, very unassuming off the field, but on a footy field, he's just probably one of the toughest nails. And I remember the one time here, we were just speaking about Gadget before, and when him and Chrissy Keating hit heads out the front here, Chrissy Keating just walked off. It was one of the hardest heads you've ever seen. Yeah. So, and we were saying that the difference in football, it's probably a lot harder in the second half because football become more of a team kind of orientated sport. Pre-2000, you had all those one-on-ones, the things like that. So I guess from your perspective, do you find it a bit harder there's so many good names in the post-2000s because of, I guess, players coming back from VFL, you know, the Knights and all that going through. Have you seen a change in that?
Have, just because of the professionalism's changed a hell of a lot too with the videos and reviews and access to all that information and fitness levels. So footy has progressed, no doubt, but I love the history of the game and where we've come from and watching local footy back in the day. But you've also always got that recency bias where guys you've seen, you know, of late, they're the ones that sort of stick in your head the most. But,
so maybe 2010 struggle a bit because that last 15 years get a little bit
influence you a little bit, but you got to put that into perspective and probably rate them just as equally, or try to anyway.
Yeah. Now we've had the chat to a few boys. Is there just one player that just has to be a lock? We've had Heath Ayres. For me, was one that
pre or post.
Oh, you can give me one of each.
Nick Riddle post.
Yep.
Probably be right there. Matty Dennis would be hard to knock out.
Yep.
And from pre, who would be Trevor Robinson?
Yeah, I reckon Trev's probably one of those ones. And that being a Bundoora boy, it doesn't matter, but he was just the toughest footballer, but also his skill level was just, you know, I remember coming down when he used to play with Footy and you know, Ace Cameron, Johnny Burke. And you saw Robbo just dominate games and just win grand finals. So I remember speaking to him when we had a night here and just speaks so passionately about a club as well. So yeah, he's definitely one for me. How's the discussion gone? Has it gone in a straight direction? Have we gone in tangents? Has there been kickback from anyone in particular?
Good discussion, and we do go all over the place. So but it's good. It's good discussion. Everyone got their own recollection of players and their opinions, and said you probably see more of some, less of others. So you take all that on board. So, for example, I played with a guy called John O'Glasso in the ruck. I'm sure many remember or know John, but he was one of the best ruckmen I've ever played with, and absolutely dominated, very agile, got around the ground, great tap work. I'd love for him to be playing in the current day, because I reckon he'd suited down to the ground with his mobility and aerial presence. A really good player. So lots to choose from.
Yeah. Is there I guess not having Heath here as well, it's easier to put him in, you know, he might just sneak in thing, but it is also difficult because some of the blokes here, you're looking at coaches and players and stuff like that. There's, you know, we've got Robbie in the back room, probably won't want to put himself close, but on the poll on the internet, 70% had him straight in.
Robbie Bolton?
Yeah. So there's another one you kind of sit there. It is difficult sometimes, you know. You've got Gary Massey and Ray Shaw as coaches possibility as well. So to have that quality as well, to be part of the thing must be, you know, must make it a bit easier as well.
Yeah, no, there's guys on this panel that have got a lot of experience, seen a lot of football, so you take their feedback and opinions on board, and wealth of knowledge in the room here. So it's been really good exercise.
It must have been supposed to be under Gary Massey. So we're going to let you get back to it. We've taken people out too much, but I'm going to try this again. We're going to try something different this time.
What's wrong with your aircon?
Sanitaire professionally clean our air conditioners every year.
My family's always sick. Maybe it's our aircon.
I cannot believe the gunk that comes out. Sanitaire is an amazing service.
Remove harmful mold, bacteria and odours. Starting from $69, your aircon will be healthier and run more efficiently.
My husband is so happy. Even our power bills are lower.
Sanitaire's award-winning premium service comes with a 12-month nationwide mold-free guarantee. Sanitaire, it's like a flu shot for your aircon. Call now, 1-800-130-168.
We've just left Compty to drink his red wine, so he can't actually speak now, so I might have to do the rest of the show myself. Great to have Gary Massey. Gary, you would, I know from the first day, you've been really excited to get back into the history and start to show a bit of love for the past players. How's it gone? Have you enjoyed the journey so far? Has it brought up some great memories for you?
Yeah, it has brought up some good memories, but it also now it's got harder and harder as you go with the numbers that are getting thrown up and the players. And this is me and Ray Shaw, the ones that
for the pre-time,
2001. Some of them don't know some of the players. So it was broken into two lots. So it should be interesting.
So how have you found the blended between the two? Because there are quite a few players that cross over. Have we kind of gone with whoever's played in the most era and put them in that team, or so?
We've looked at the ones that are post, the ones that are pre. Find how long they played pre and how long they played post. So it's a little difficult. We've got down to about 30 odd. Now I've got to
drop it down by another 6.
Elimination.
Yeah, and the ones that miss out are just they're amazing. Well, you could, as you say, you could almost have 2 sides for each, and you'd still have some left over. So that's the quality of footballers that have come through.
I don't think it matters what team you pick. And the whole concept of the thing is that somebody will be able to pick someone better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which will make it an interesting concept in the end.
Well, I think it's a great discussion because we've, like I've said for the last few people here as well, that you do value the players you played with more because you got to see them week out. You looked at their all, see how they train. So I guess that little bit of things, you'll have people jump online and say, look, I played with this guy who was fantastic. And he was in the top 40, but that's probably the hardest job to try and delineate from the ones you played with too.
We haven't been able to get a number on some of the players. Not some people don't know enough about them. I know a fair bit about them, but it's me against the others. So, full forward. It hasn't been.
It's never smooth sailing, is it?
I don't think it's easy as some of the guys thought it was going to be.
And if you've been in local footy for that long, so we've asked everyone the same question: is there 2 or 3 players you just sit there and go, if I'm picking a team, they're the first players I'm actually picking?
Well, I suppose it's already been set back there tonight.
Yeah.
Someone that kicked 600 goals.
Yeah, in 5 years.
They didn't even put a nomination.
Didn't have to, just tick him.
Yeah, the same number. That's it. Him. But it's been an interesting concept. But most of the other positions, there's several nominations from. And they all break down pretty even. So somebody is going to miss out. What is it? 24, so 6 interchange players. That might save some, but there's always someone that knows someone better.
And the other part too is the leadership. You know, the hardest part, not just picking a team, but someone that you'd sit there and go, if I had a leader or a man, this is the person that I'd have involved. Is there about 3 or 4 names that you kind of look at, or you're probably 4 or 5?
I'd probably look back on my coaching career and blokes that I've coached out at the curtain raisers of the AFL Grand Finals out at Waverley. There was Ray Shaw, then were other games I've had where I've had Trevor Robinson, Paul Story, all those guys. So, and any one of them would be a good leader.
Yeah, just back to Jamie. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We've had a discussion with Ray. These guys they're the biggest thing in football back then. The guy that used to kick 100 goals, 90 to 100 goals, the pure full forward. It's been lost in the new game, but you look back with so much, I guess, so much love for those guys that, used to kick 190 in year in, year out. Like Jamie did it, 4 years in a row?
He leads the goal kicking 161. He runs second with 135.
I think only once he didn't kick 100. There's 96 kick goals for that year. So
that might be 99.
I think
he went to Corrie.
Or did turn up a quarter time. I said one day might have cost him that year, maybe. So
but I don't think you'll ever see another player like him. 5 years, you average out what he kicked.
And it's just an amazing game.
Goals.
Is there
going to find someone that kicks 60 or 70 now?
Probably even 40 or 50. I mean, you got small forwards kicking 30, and the idea now, I guess, is to split the thing, so it's a lot harder to do. So now going into the teams themselves, is there a position that you found the hardest to actually?
Well, there's midfield.
Midfield. There's so many
of the hardest. There's probably 8, 9, 10 on the board now. It's going to be an elimination.
Chuck 3 on the bench.
that's what will probably have to happen.
Yeah.
But, actual positioning and finding the wingers are going to be a tight position to find because there's so many good players played on the wing and other guys that can extend out to the wings and play from there. So most of them are all ball winners.
Yeah. Have you found it difficult too that there are players you're going to find that have played in multiple positions for their career? Is there kind of ones that you sit there and go, he's probably more a backman, but he's played on wing and that as well?
That's what we're trying to avoid.
Pick them on their spot. They play the most, man. Yeah.
Design to play.
Yeah.
But the wings, the midfields.
Yep.
There's going to be numerous ones.
Yeah.
Playing those positions.
Yeah.
So we've got to be. I think it's only the right way to go about it. This concept is to have kick blokes that have played centre half back.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
It's not a matter of just filling in a position.
There's 24 of the best players, 24 positions in their actual
pick a team that if they have to play, they'd be able to win.
Yeah. Now, there's been some really, I'm hearing the background now, there's some really good discussions. It must be a good discussion to have, though, talking about these things and giving a great, putting almost shining a spotlight on these guys, especially, as you said, post-2000s, majority of people playing footy now would have either played with someone or known someone coming through, but pre-2000s, I mean, they realistically set up the league and they put forward to what we actually have now.
Well, I've already made my statement early doors.
Yeah.
I think when they picked the pre-2000 side, I think, and I haven't seen the post one, I reckon pre-2000 I'll smash it.
Because it was a lot more individual, like one-on-one football. We just said that to Ray. There was the grounds were harder to as well. There was a lot more, mud grounds, but just the one-on-one football back then was just such a I guess a massive characteristic of football back then.
That point system that's been introduced. Slow down the quality of play because of the point system and where they come from. So in some ways, I think last footy where that's
open slather and
open slather, you play whoever who'd like to play for you, as long as they were in your guidelines. But now it's a little bit.
It's a lot different now. Like, how would you feel? How would you go on coaching now with the football the way it is now? Would it be a bit more difficult considering it's like a team defence now rather than individual positions? Or?
If I was to do it, which it's not going to happen, but I mean, you need to work really close with them. Some of the young kids have had to step up from junior footy, senior footy, and they're probably you're forced to play them. Hopefully they get better as they go.
We're going to get you back into it, Gary. You're given enough of your time. I think they're starting to get argy-bargy. I think Ray's getting overrun. So we're going to have a break. And we'll be back to wrap up after this.
G'day, my name's Chris Newton. I'm one of the proud owners of the EA Group. I'm wrapped to be on this show and supporting sport, supporting local sport. We're very proud sponsors of a range of footy teams, soccer teams, AFL teams around the country, particularly regionally where they need most of our help. Give our team at EA Group a call. We've got all your T-SAP, crushers, screeners, trommels, and as you can see, everything else that you need to be able to load these wonderful machines. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be on the show and to support your success.
All right, guys, welcome back. It looks like I've lost the hosting job here. I've been taken over. Guys, it's been a really good night. I just spent 15 minutes on the table with the legends, Bonners, and I'm going to tell you, holy shit, if this is for the yesteryear and the today side, I don't think you're in a room with any of these guys on a Thursday night.
Now, before you go, they've put Daniel Moore in. I can't put Moore in because he always said to me he would never leave Epping.
Right.
And he did, and he would not look me in the eye. But Daniel Moore, good footballer, guy I played footy against a lot, just a champion, centre half back for sure. So definitely a name that
we'll have to make sure he's on the list. Should we do it live?
No, I'm not getting involved, mate. I'm sticking right here. Chris Lang was the one. Yeah, it was Chris Lang. Sorry, Sammy, you didn't make it. We did want to try and get you in, but you had to kick 100 goals and you didn't come on the show.
The Gladiators see me drinking the red in the background. Sorry, Gladiator. I got to tell you, I think we owe Kingy $20 for a bottle of.
No, I'm
Jack
fine,
is
thanks. Yeah, thanks for
fantastic.
asking.
No, we
me,
don't care. But someone had to hold the footy.
But
You're going to
it's
drive me home
amazing.
now.
Really good chats. You know, as we were saying that I reckon post 2000 is a lot harder to pick because we were talking about pre 2000 as well, because you had a lot of your one-on-one. Football's such a different game now. You know, it's changed. The rules have changed and evolved over many times. That it's more a team defense now. So you're getting a lot more on ballers playing everywhere. Where back then you had your back pocket. If you're a back pocket, you're a workman back pocket. If you're a centre half back, mate, you're a centre half back.
I'm not sure if you can see this board getting flipped.
Yeah, I know.
They're taking people out of the yesteryear side into the
If you look at Bowles. Bowles is living in his best life. It's just directing.
And Bowles said, he goes, I'm not getting involved tonight, guys.
And he's already
He's loved it. And they're having a ball, but you can tell, look at this. You got Ray and Gary in the today side.
You know that they're crossing their arms now. They're just out. They're done. But that was really good discussion. It was great to get information from people. I mean, to me, the shining light of this is Jamie Shaw's name. Just it's almost like it's when you get the thing, you throw it on the dartboard, and that's the first name that comes up. I know. Another one that we had from this year, the later years, was when Vinny said Heath Ayres, a guy I played footy with for many years. For me, probably him. I think I said at the start of the year, him and Matty Dennis, the two players I thought were probably stiff not to at least get a run at an AFL club.
We're just saying that we're talking about a couple of guys. They were telling me who should have definitely got a run.
Yeah,
and it's about Martello from North Heidelberg, who if Stan Elves had stayed, was guaranteed to be drafted. And that's
what you find. I mean, football's about personalities, and it's about people's opinions of what happens. So I don't envy these boys, but you can see these guys, like you see, especially speaking of Ray and Gary Massey, they're just the excitement to talk about the past, because they lay the foundation. Like we knew it as a Diamond Valley footy. It was a DVFL. As I was saying before, I used to come down and watch Bundy, Footy, Ace Cameron, we used to have Johnny Burke, then you had Gadget and the last things for North Heidelberg, Jason Heatley, all the boys, the Armad boys coming through North Capuck. I mean, they're my memories coming back, watching before I actually got involved. And even as far back, Vinny playing with Frogger and, Sinclair and the Layla boys, Matty Carmock I got to play with. Simon Grossman's name got put up. I don't know how. He's carried him for 8 years. I can't believe that his name was put up.
One of the funny things is I was just speaking to the boys then. So their goal by 8:30 tonight was to get both of the sides down to 30 players.
What are they at 50 now?
They're about 55 each side. They don't know who they're going to cut.
I think it's great though. I actually think it's fantastic to have that much quality in a football. So you could pick three teams and they could play each other and they'd be just as competitive. But and that's why we didn't do it, mate. We handballed it beautifully. It's probably the only handball I've ever done in my football life. So
before it closed the show up, I mean, the goal is at our grand final night, which is September 4th, which is sold out. We've allocated a few tables for these sides. We're going to invite these people to come and receive
as many as we can.
As many as we can get in, will be great. And look, it's not about who misses out. We've called on these five experts with Jason Heatley, who get a list now. He's going to. They've allocated him the task of cutting a few. So
he's doing into from. He has to cut into from.
But that's going to be a tough task. But I mean, there's no greater brain than Heats. And, so it's going to be fair. It's good for the show. I'm glad we're talking about it. It's good for football. Sorry, I should say not the show. It's good for football. All right. Now we're going to wind up and we're going to go and have a chat with these guys and have a red wine.
I don't know. I think I might want to stay here. I'm just jumping in the bullpen.
I think it's amazing. Look, I do want to give one cheerio tonight, and it's not footy related.
Okay.
So at 81, my old man's retired today.
Oh,
huge effort. Should have probably put in a little bit harder, Dad, I reckon, but well done, Dad.
Why not 82? What's wrong with you, mate?
Slack ass. I got the work ethic.
Bloody
You'd argue I didn't.
Freeloader.
But no, that's a great achievement, working all the way to 81, and he wants to watch the grandkids a bit more, and footy and that with basketball, which is great. And we tried to cover as many of the birthdays this week as we could, which is fantastic.
So your son down here not training?
No, I think he's cooked. He's definitely here this week. I'm not sure about
well, they took a thing of his heart or something of his big.
No, it was a DNA on mine. They just swabbed and they said, "Oh, he's yours."
No chance.
Unfortunately, he's got a foot injury at the moment. And better to be safe.
Look, you've got to get yourself ready. He's a young kid. Don't want to take these into next year. So for me, this time of year for the last two games is it's all about getting something out of the year. I think, as I said, a lot of the teams still have something to play for, and I love that about football.
There's a lot of opportunities still for guys coming up to
Exactly.
make their mark and be seen for next year with the coaches.
But you lead into it. You kind of want to, like, it was funny, like when you're playing in a side that wasn't in finals, which I played in a bit when I was coming through. It's all about what do I want to get out to get ready for the pre-season. I don't want to ease into the end of the year. So, and look, the reality is, after your next 2 games, there's 6 months before you get to play again.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys will miss it. I know I used to look forward to the end of the footy season. Then I'd get into cricket season.
Yeah,
and then it's like as soon as
bad
it's
at
gone,
2 sports.
I know I was pretty shitty at both. But like the problem is it's gone before you know it, your footy career. I was just saying to one of the boys over there, I said, my footy career, I can only summarise it. I feel like that now because it's gone. Same as cricket. I still miss cricket. I'm 50. I still miss it. Body says no, brain says yes. So these guys, to be honest, if I close the show in any other way than this, I'll be doing any justice that the NFNL should be proud of what they've got going.
Absolutely.
It's a fantastic competition.
And a massive shout out to they've done it, like even the grand finals, it looks like a pure grand final.
It really does.
Preston, for me, like I'm not going to be thinking, but I'm Bryce. Preston is my
great ground.
It's where I've got all my memories coming through. I love football there. I love the atmosphere there. It's within the community. So having it there, I think, is really the pinnacle of football.
It is.
And having it at Layla too, I think is fantastic. Punch on, hang on. We're going to have to jump in there. We better hurry in the show because we're going to have to.
All right, we're going to go an hour's enough, guys. We will see you Sunday for the wrap-up of the finals. No one likes you, Westy. I keep telling you this, mate. I've retired again. But probably going to go and play a couple of games with you this year and just wreak havoc down at Lorem again, where I'm still registered 1 or 2 games with the boys and catch up. Guys, until next week, Bonus, thanks for taking control tonight. I've had 3 red wines. I'm going to have to stay for another hour. It's over up. But
I'm just going to call the booze buster.
I already called him. I didn't want to go home. So, all good, guys. We'll see you Sunday night for a wrap-up of the first final. Until then, thanks for tuning in.